Yes,
Hey, girl. Hey.
She's back.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for holding it down. Thank you for bringing the iconic, legendary, trailblazing friend of yours. You also just
And
like,
Ashley. Crystal and Ashley were on.
and Ashley. She
Did
was
you
included
you
in
didn't
that
listen.
medley of.
Y'all, Shanti didn't listen. Did you listen to the episodes?
I did not. I don't. Do you go back and listen to episodes? I keep recording these episodes and then never returning to them.
No, I never listen to Us Again. But if you have a guest and you're by yourself, I try to listen.
Why?
What do you mean? To hear what you talked about, to be up to speed.
To vet the quality?
That too.
No.
But it's not to vet the quality. It's literally like if you're doing an episode by yourself, then I wasn't on it, then I don't know what happened.
So you had a monologue on this motherfucker, but nobody was on it but you?
Yes, I did it.
What you was saying?
I hated it. I could be like, okay. I don't know. You know me, I keep reading This Here Flesh and putting it down and crying for a month and then coming back and reading 2 more pages and putting it down and crying for another month. But I read a passage.
So you did your update by yourself?
Yeah, I did my updates. I also did voicemails. So you should listen to the first 20 minutes. I did voicemails because we had y'all. Thank y'all so much for calling. But we had over 40 some voicemails.
Wow, that has some.
And I don't know what we were speaking about. They got the people going, but they were calling. And I feel like people are behind, so it'll be good that we're taking this break so they can catch up. Because we're getting voicemails from like previous episodes and stuff, and I just felt bad. I was like, I didn't want to have a week where we didn't have them, and then we can't get to them because they're so outdated. So, anyway.
Shout out to you, Queen, a star. That's what I'm gonna lead with. I did the Roots picnic. Antoinette and Amanda came on.
You didn't just do the Roots picnic.
Sunday.
You were also a guest on a podcast. You ain't tell us nothing about that.
I didn't know about it. I didn't really know about it.
For the second year in a row, holding it down. But anyway, go ahead.
The Roots Picnic is a music festival that's been going on since 2008, I think. I misquoted that. I made it up. I think it's right, though. But of course, it was started by the legendary Roots and has grown to be a 50,000 attended 50,000 people be going
2008
to
is
this.
Correct. Just
okay,
so you know.
Good work by me. They go to this festival, and this is my 3rd year vending with the Sable Collective there. Last year, Antoinette and I had the pleasure of being on the podcast stage. And this year I had the opportunity to curate the marketplace. It was actually, they've never had like an official marketplace, but we're working towards making it an official thing. And so it's 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Antoinette and Amanda come on Sunday. I come down, give us some tickets. Right when Antoinette walks in, I'm just men that whenever I see them don't know my name. I always have to reintroduce myself. They're always just like, yeah, okay, all right. We walk past and this man says my first and my last name apparently. Shanti Byers. He starts giving out my social security. Hey, Shanti Byers. I turn around. He's like, yeah. What's up with you? Also, get my girl over there. Tell my girl over there. He runs over. Is talking with Antoinette. It was like,
please give the demographic.
It was like, don't be a menace
man.
to South Central, or about drinking your juice in the hood, where the guy with the kufi comes in and he bugs the black girl out the way to go get to the white girl. He just bugged me out the way.
No, he did.
Yes, he did, and took a picture.
I don't like that correlation of the black girl and the white girl, you bitch.
But me and Amanda just looked at each other.
He's also like 60 years old. You make it seem like I'm this.
Now that's That is
I
a
don't know how old he
that
is.
is the
I'm
original
playing.
artsy nigga.
I
Those
know.
niggas paved the way for all the niggas that wear red and orange hats and like design architecture and nice furniture. Like that's a real Philly artsy boy. But it was really funny. And it just continued throughout the entire
That's
day. And I
not
was like,
true. Mad
she's a
people wanted to
star.
talk to you and you
She's
just
why
were
are you
oblivious.
denying that?
Because you were
Why is
oblivious.
it
There were mad people like, oh my God, around the way curls, I love you. And then I'd be like, Shanti.
no, they'd be
And
like,
you just wouldn't
Antoinette.
come, but you
They
wouldn't
would
come
go,
over. You wouldn't say
Antoinette.
hi.
And a lot of them learned about around they fell in love with you first and then maybe came through around the way curls. I'm not dismissing or diminishing anything. I'm just saying that
Whatever.
I realized, oh shit, when I go out with Antoinette, she's like
No.
really a star. And I hope and I think there is a collective prayer anyway going out there for you to be able to quit your job and step into this
Child.
role. So I'm just
Oh,
adding
I have
to
to
it.
update you on it.
I'm adding to it because it's happening. You edging over there on the low.
Okay.
But the Roots was great. I want to shout out personally Brandon motherfucking Panky. Thank you again for giving me these opportunities. You know who you are. Shout out to you. I want to mention all because a lot of Around the Way Curls fans that didn't know my name came through to the marketplace. I want to shout out Yo Yo, of course, who came with her sister, her twin sister.
Yo-Yo has a twin
No,
sister?
it's not her twin
Oh.
sister. They just have the same exact face.
Oh.
Monty, of course, saw him twice.
Monty. I
Real
didn't see
Philly. I
Monty
forget he
once.
is a Philly nigga. Like Monty,
Yeah.
I'm always like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I know, I live here. France, I may be saying your name wrong. I know it started with the FR. I apologize. He knew nothing about the Roots picnic whatsoever, but was inspired by our conversation. He flew all the way from Florida, I believe.
What?
And he has made a promise to himself. That's what he wants to do the rest of this year is to go explore different music venues and just put himself out there. So I want to shout you out for one, doing that and following through to your word. And I hope you enjoyed yourself and being inspired by us. And lastly, Mylon, I may be saying her name wrong, but she was just a beautiful, just cute as a button. I'm probably missing other folks as well. I apologize. These are the names that stuck in my head. Don't blame my heart, blame my memory. But y'all were beautiful and great and excited and shared really wonderful energy. And I wasn't able to watch many of the acts, but I was able to watch Little Brother perform. And in watching them, I saw so many men like in their giddiest, happiest, most like they were little boys, how excited they were and repeating all of the lyrics. And it was just such a pleasure. Black, white, they were just so hype and just, I was like, this is my kink. I love to see men like loving that kind of music. Even when they're like mobbing, I love to see it when they're hyping to some really hood shit. I love to see Black men loving music. So that was a joy to experience. And I also want to shout out all the people that was like, Shanti, why are you working? Saturday I was working a lot, but Sunday is when I stepped away. And a lot of people were like, good to see you're not out there working. Good to see, you followed what you said you were going to do. And it did feel good. Business is hard. Things don't go as you expect them to go. But I'm proud of the preparation. I'm proud of the dope staff that I had there that were fully prepared. And it was just a great learning experience. So shout out to all of y'all. Michelle, who I shouted out before, Patrice, Sakia, Ja Digga, the whole crew. Yeah, that's it. It was a good weekend. Thank you for holding it down while I got my shit together to make it happen.
We're gonna stop the video right now, Monty. Yeah, the Roots was dope. A lot of people wanted to take pictures with Shanti and I, but Shanti wouldn't come for some reason. She was too busy talking to Amanda or talking to some boy or talking to whoever. You were actively in your bag a little bit, and I was here for it. You were like, I'm going to be mixy, I'm going to talk to people, and I'm going to meander and gallivant. And I said, well, all right, sis, do your thing. I'd be screaming your name to come take a picture, and you would just look
I did
through
not
me.
hear you.
Okay, well, I was also very high. So if anybody did meet me, apologies.
You were very.
I was like, you know what? I need to relax. But it was the Roots was cool. I, like you, didn't see a lot of acts. I don't know that I went to go see a lot of acts. I missed State Property because I was too tired to come Saturday. And that was really who I was looking forward to. But I did see Freeway, the
That's
God.
your baby.
That's my boo. Jazmine was so irritated with me. She was like, anyway, that's a story for another time. But DJ Drama brought out Armani Blanco, who, if you are a long time Around the Way Curls listeners, before he blew up the way he has, he was on the podcast and was a lovely guest. And I kept saying, this kid is up next. This kid is up next. And look at him now. And we've stayed in contact, and it was just a really great thing to see him be brought out, to see him do his thing.
He's
And
an
Freeway was in the
incredible
background, incredible performer.
Really great
Freeway
energy.
was in the background co-signing him, listening, like rocking with him. And I was like, look at Free. But I just ended up hanging out with him for the most part. We watched you on the podcast stage do an excellent job. You were so comfortable on the mic, maybe a little too comfortable, if you remember what you said.
Child.
I ain't gonna repeat it, but that shit was hilarious.
Threats.
I was telling Jazz the story, and she was in the car howling. She was like, why would she say that? I said, girl, it was too funny.
I
Anyway,
self-sabotage. I need to go to therapy. Why would I say that?
girl, I was rolling.
I apologize.
But Armani sat me down. I've been having a lot of these kind of conversations, which I'm gonna get into in a second. First, I want to say to the Roots Picnic, I don't know what you have against Jazmine, but every time she sings, y'all don't turn her mic on. And to me, it feels like sabotage. This is her hometown. You got her out of bed. Usher said, Jazz, I want you to come out. I got this great idea. I'm going to bring you out. I'm going to bring Eve out and bring Thought out. And we're going to do, what is it? I Got You? You Got Me, rather. And you're going to sing Erica's part, written by Jill. It's going to be iconic. The way that girl was whispering on that stage, singing Usher and Usher alone.
It was just blank. She was like,
she was so annoying. Like, y'all had one job. And she was out there the whole song. So in my head, I'm thinking, sound man, you don't hear this? Or somebody pass her a mic. But I think what was happening was, I think her sound was coming in through the monitors. So on stage, she could hear herself. But in the audience, you couldn't hear nothing. Anyway, so I just was like, y'all done got her out of bed, slapped the wig on, and then
the crowd was still hyped.
No, the crowd was so hyped when they called her name, but she came out and she started, I don't know why she did this, but she started trying to like dance on Usher.
Started, kinda. She was.
No, she was, but the funniest part was that I showed her the video and she was like, now, wait a minute, that's not how it looked like in my head. She was like, what in the auntie?
Jazmine is a strong grinder.
She is, but
she really is.
That didn't show. She was giving out wallies, you know she was. That didn't show her at her best. I showed her video of Carisha. She was like, that's what I thought I was doing. That's not how it came off. But the fact that the Shade Room posted it was like, she's been waiting for this moment her whole life. I was like, that's a shame. But I will say that Usher was incredible. And it made me want to spend this $2,000 for a ticket to go see him. But not really. But I want to see it. I know what I said about Usher. And I still stand by it. I think Usher is incredible. I would want to see Usher over Justin Timberlake any day of the month, week, second, whatever. All I'm gonna say is even there, I was like, yo, I asked the person that I was standing next to, I was like, Usher or Justin Timberlake in a Verzuz. Keep in mind, Justin's got the Backstreet Boys shit, and he wrote Partition, and he wrote, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh man, I don't know. In 20, it might be JT. But I want to see Usher over Justin Timberlake. There is something so charming about Usher. And I realized too, he's a Libra. He's born October 14th. We got the same birthday. And I love him. And I was really proud of him. And I was like, wow, he's just, there's an allure that feels innocent, but still like that he would take you down.
He's a
And I
master
appreciate that.
performer as well. Like,
But even the way that the music, like whoever music directed it, even the intros into the songs, like he really made sure the music came alive. Because if you listen to his catalog, it's easy to be like, all right, it's a little slow because it's, you know, it's R&B, but he adds something to it on that live show. They are doing construction outside my door. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay. But anyway, I'm having this conversation with Armani and I'm sitting there. And we're in like this like VIP area. And shout out to Armani, so sweet. I did not have a VIP pass. He gave me his and then he figured out how to get in himself because that's the angel that he is. And so I'm sitting there and two things happen. Armani is lecturing me on how I need to quit my job, how I need to figure this out, and how he hates that I'm working a 9 to 5 and what is my angle, and like giving me all of this like strategy kind of talk. And keep in mind, this kid is, I ain't gonna say his age, but much younger than me. And we found that out. He thought I was much younger. And I said, boy, he said, oh, you old as shit. It was like the moment when Kevin Hart said to Don Cheadle, when Don Cheadle said his age, and he was like, damn. Like that was how he reacted to me. And I was like, Armani, don't play with me. I'm an older woman. But I'm sitting there, and remember I told y'all that there was a young gentleman caller?
oh gosh.
That was interested and that was calling. Child. I'm
Did you
sitting
tell them
there.
about that?
I'm going to tell the world. Yep.
But I don't know if they knew.
Yeah, I did.
You were,
I did.
but mind you, she's excited about this, right? She's
I don't
like,
know if I was excited. It was cute. I don't know. I
there was a
had to
tinge
go
of
back and listen.
excitement. Maybe you weren't like hype about it, but it
All
was
right,
like,
if I'm
oh,
being
there's something
honest,
there.
if I'm being honest, the excitement was around maybe I will be able to have sex.
Oh,
That was the excitement. If I'm being completely honest,
well,
maybe
girl,
you won't be stupid and talk your way out of the pussy. Maybe you'll just hold it together.
just
Maybe.
shut up. Be nice.
Girl, nope, he couldn't do it either.
Oh.
So he's walking, and we have been exchanging, you know, a little bit of
Pleasantries.
dialogue here and there, pleasantries. But still, it's been 2 weeks. I ain't seen you yet. So I had already in my head been like, all right, I'm good, love, enjoy. He's walking, he's there, and he's not from Philly. He's a New Yorker. And I see this bucket hat, and I'm like, is that, I know that ain't who I think it is. Walking arm in arm, hand in hand,
Wow.
booed up. When I say booed up, like not this is a first date, not this is even like something new. We're
This
just
my
enjoying each
joint.
other. This
That's my
is,
dip.
that's your dip. That's your lady. That's your girl. And the worst part about it was that when he saw, no, that's not even the worst part. This is the second worst. When he saw me, he started scratching his head to drop her hand.
No, not a scratching his head with the bucket on. First of all, that's strange.
Scratching his head and turn his back. But the worst part was that he had to stand there in line because he was waiting for food
Wow.
right in front of me. And so
I would've
Amanda,
walked
I
past
whispered to
her.
Amanda, like, yo, I tell her what the deal is. And she's like, he is looking dead at you. She's like, we should say hi. And, you know, I don't want to upset any young woman. That's not my steez. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. Literally said nothing to him. I was just going to let it die. Like, okay, whatever. I get home, Shanti, and I get a text that says first of all. Don't, that's
Come
what?
on.
You just texted me.
I'm over 30 years old. Come on.
I'm 35 years old. Grow
Let's
up.
go. Mhm.
And you are older than me. Tighten up. A father of 2. Tighten up.
Oh,
So I get this text and I'm looking at it like I'm irritated because I was going to leave you be. I wasn't even going to be smart. Everybody else told me to be a smart ass to say
did. I
something.
told you too.
You did. And so I wrote exactly what you wrote or told me to write. I said, "Oh, did you enjoy the concert this weekend?" the festival, I think. And he goes, "What you talking about? Are the streets talking, or you,
Oh,
girl?" He acted as
oh
though
my
he didn't
God.
look me in my face.
Cognitive dissonance.
And
What's
I was
wrong with
like,
you?
yo, you fucking bozo. This is so. And I say, you know what? I say, you looked me dead in my face and then tried to drop
You said
the
that?
girl who, yes, I say, you looked me dead in my face and then dropped arms and hands with the girl that you were with. Please stop. That's silly. And then he wrote me and was like, "Oh nah, I swear I didn't see you." And then that's what he sent. And then I didn't say anything. So then he wrote again and was like, "But I guess if I'm gonna come clean, I was hanging out with a shorty this weekend. But like, what would be wrong with that?" I didn't
Oh
respond.
boy.
I said, "Bro, that wasn't just a shit. Like, stop. Like as women, you can tell when something's new, when you're just dating." That girl, I felt so sorry for her. I really did. I said, I can't even believe this fool is out here being foolish and trying to be foolish with me. You
Trying to make a fool out
annoying.
of you. Trying to osmosis you into the foolery.
I'm like, do you know who the
Trying to
fuck I
make it
am?
contagious.
No,
Absolutely not.
seriously. Like, do you know who I am? Why are you playing with me? Do you have any clue? Like, I am a quality person. Do you understand the value that I add to people's lives?
Oh
And
no,
you
that's right.
playing in my face? Move. And it wasn't even that
Move.
deep. It really wasn't. It was like, yo, it wasn't that deep. Like, you didn't have any business trying to holler when you did. It's evident that you didn't. Like, stop. Anyway, that was
And
just
you blocked
corny.
him, correct?
Did I? No, I just stopped responding. There's
Oh, I
no.
thought you
He
told
wrote
me
me back.
blocked
Oh, blocked I don't need to
in your
block him.
spirit. You're spiritually blocked.
Yeah, he RIP. Are you all right? But anyway, and then lastly, I had to go into the office this week. And more this has been happening at work where I'm getting these pings where it's like ping on Teams. Hey, are do you have a podcast? And I'd be like,
Mm.
nope. Nope. And some people who, if they're cool enough, I'll be like, is this, I won't even say yes. I say, this isn't really something I talk about at work. Like, literally, and shut it down. Girl, why did one of the heads of HR come up to me and say, I was scrolling on Instagram, and I was like, as soon as she said it, I was like, fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck. And she proceeds to tell me
That you're
that,
a star.
but listen, this is what she said. She said, I had to think about it because I had just gotten out of a meeting that I didn't belong in that was like a little bit insulting, but it was cool. So they were gonna anyway utilize me in more of a leadership role in the meeting. But she said to me, and I quote, I can't imagine how, what did she say? What was the word? It was the word that she used.
Frustrating, draining.
No, not frustrating. Oh, I can't imagine how stifling it must be to come here and have to play small. And when she said that, I wanted to run in the bathroom. The I felt my tears like coming. I felt this lump in my throat. My chest got tight. And I know she was literally trying to say, I see you. Because she told me that. She literally was like, I just want you to know I see you. And I can't imagine what it would be to come here and sit in some of these meetings and listen to some of this nonsense after hearing how you operate outside of work and how expansive you are, like the multitudes that you contain. It
Mm-hmm.
must be hell. And so she was trying to, like, I guess, comfort me and connect with me, but oh my God, it killed me. And maybe it was for good. I'm sure it was. I know the intention was good, and if you're listening right now, I didn't take it any kind of way, but it just sat so heavy on my heart of like, oh my God, to hear that, to come here and have to play small.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, that was awful. So I think I've just been sitting with that all week. And then on top of my conversation with Armani, and then on top of, some a listener, and I haven't been able to respond, but a couple listeners emailed and did say that, we're hoping that you can leave soon. You sound stressed. Yada, yada.
But it's a
Anyway.
powerful thing to have collective prayer and collective like foresight for you. Like
Mm,
that's not many people have that. Very few people have that. So you're on your way. It's not even a matter of if, it's just when. And
yeah.
it's coming.
Okay.
It's guaranteed.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say so.
Well, those are my updates. They felt long-winded, but yeah, proud of Armani, love Jazmine, Negro still playing in my face, and I still have a 9 to 5. In summary, moving right along, please rate, review, subscribe, and share around the way, girls. Y'all, I'm gonna ask real nice again because it worked last time. May you please review the podcast. May you please go to Apple, to Spotify, to wherever you listen and review this bad boy. Don't just rate it. Like, rating is great. Cool. But like, write some shit down, because I'm telling you, that's the stuff that people read. And I have some folks that are trying to help us out with some pitches, and I would love to be able to cite like our reviews from listeners. So please help.
Doesn't Spotify also allow for
I
reviews?
said Apple and Spotify.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Apple is the one that they still value the most, but Spotify is stepping their game up with the listener interaction, with like the questions and stuff. So anyway,
Lovely.
go ahead.
And we want to shout out all of our patrons who are newly added to our Patreon, which is a online subscription in which you can see our podcasts in video form, as well as other content that is not available to the public unless you are a patron. Shout out to Sonia, Key, Alexa, Portia, Hayes, Anastasia, Ali, and Gloria. Shout out to you. You know who you are. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining our clique, our gang. We said this a while back. Just gonna remind y'all again, we are going on a break, a 2-week break. We will be back. Ooh, Antoinette, I don't know what that week is. The 3rd. Is that correct?
Yes.
We will be back July 3rd on Monday. But we are going to be holding our first town hall on Patreon on June 29th at 8 p.m. If you're a patron.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for that clarity. If you are a patron, you'll be able to talk with us. It'll be our first time ever doing it. I suppose we'll come up with a theme. Maybe you guys can throw some questions in or something that you guys would like to collectively discuss. But that will be happening exclusively for the patrons on Patreon. So thank you again. And we're going to take a break and come back with our hot shit.
That's your new song?
Yeah, what was the one that you liked?
After these messages.
Oh, no, voicemails. I can't remember what your voicemail song
Voicemail.
Voicemails.
Yeah. Wayne's World. All right, we're taking a break. Bye. And we're back. We're back. Hot shit. I saw this and got hyped for you, boo. Babyface released a tiny desk with Tank, Shanti Moore, and Avery Wilson singing leads and background. Avery was eating them up. Ooh, that man can sing. Boy, oh boy. He was also background for Usher. And he's also going to be the Scarecrow.
Oh.
In The Wiz. Shout out to The Wiz. On Broadway. Now
Don't you dare shout out The Wiz.
I will shout out The Wiz because I've always maintained that the musical was excellent. It was the adaptation to film that was terrible. And I stand by it. But Anyway, this is about Babyface. He killed it. It was wonderful. Did you watch it?
Apparently, Charlie Wilson has a really amazing Tiny Desk as well. I gotta see
Yes.
both of them. I love Tiny Desk. It makes me feel claustrophobic, but I do understand the premise. But I love that. I love being on the YouTubes and just letting them things play back to back. I'll check that out. I don't know if this was mentioned last week, but I just wanted to say happy Pride
It wasn't.
to our
I'm so sorry.
community, LGBTQIA community. Shout out to you guys. I wanted to just give a very
And
brief
girls and non-binary folks.
God, damn guys. Always something
It's
to
deeply embedded in our language,
fuck.
honey.
For those of you who don't know the source of Pride, I wanted to share very briefly, to the best of my abilities, the history in which it started. In 1969, in June 28th, in the Greenwich, am I saying that? Greenwich, say it?
Yeah,
Say it
Greenwich.
again so I can say it.
Greenwich.
Greenwich. I apologize. I'm
But
not
you
a New
read
Yorker.
it phonetically, that's
I
correct.
did.
Yes.
Greenwich area of New York, a quote-unquote riot broke out. So in the 1960s, the solicitation of same-sex relations was illegal. Basically, to be gay, to appear gay, to dress in drag, to be openly affectionate with the same sex was illegal. It could put you into jail. It was also illegal to serve alcohol to gays. And so oftentimes in the natural, beautiful defiance of marginalized folks, gay folks would gather in bars, and Stonewall Inn was a bar that was opened in 1966. It was run by the mob. They had a lockdown on the gay community, apparently, and they opened up the Stonewall Inn, which was a gathering place for many gay, trans folks, very unhoused, a lot of unhoused youth and runaways gathered there, drank there together, and just shared community. And because of the connection with the mob would tip off and pay off the police. And so oftentimes any raids or things that were happening, the mob would know ahead of time. But on this particular night, there was a raid by the police that was not tipped off. It was a surprise to everyone. And the police came in, of course, very disrespectfully, very violently, and started arresting folks and attacking folks. And a lot of folks said, notably the queer, or rather the trans folks within that community that attended often, were the first ones to kind of throw the punch and fight back. And in retaliation, they began fighting back. They began throwing bottles, rocks, fist fighting, and responding to this violence that was upon them. And a lot of folks like to say that it became a quote unquote riot, but in a lot of the queer folks' language, it was actually a rebellion. It was them standing up for themselves. And what ended up happening was that they barricaded the police inside of the bar and set it on fire. And more police had to come, of course. And so this set off days of protests in front of this bar where thousands of people gathered. Many of the beloved queer activists in the New York community, specifically those that are trans, Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, were there and were said to have been initiators in this rebellion. And although, of course, Stonewall didn't immediately change everything, it was the origin for a lot of key gay advocacy groups such as GLAAD and PFLAG, for parents, families, and friends of lesbians and gays. So since then, in June, queer folks gather, they celebrate, they rebel in many ways to the status quo. They love each other. They are openly loved by folks that support them. So we just want to shout out to y'all. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Um, and thank you for the influence and the power and the resilience, and paving the way in awful, very painful, unseen, unheard, unfelt ways, to bringing change in this world that just cannot tolerate difference, cannot tolerate expression, cannot tolerate a certain freedom that is just guaranteed and beautifully expressed in the queer community. So shout out to y'all. Hot shit.
I believe too this Stonewall Inn is still standing.
Oh,
Pretty sure. I know that as a yeah, you can still go. I know that it's right. We've passed it. You just don't realize.
I would love to go. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's I know for during COVID there was like chatter that it might close, but I just looked it up and it says that it's still open. It's not like a bar that I frequent, so I wouldn't know, but it says it's still open and it's still doing its thing, and it has one of the bricks there that is supposedly from that rebellion of that day. Like,
Wow.
so it's pretty cool. And Pride, I went to the Pride parade last year. What a time.
I could
Boy,
imagine.
I
I would
was
love to go.
oh, the Pride parade in New York is like no other thing. And all you got, what is the park by NYU? I know all the New Yorkers are like, girl, how you don't know that? But anyway, it's like this park where all of the misfit toys basically go. And any day of the week you can go and meet the most interesting people, Washington Square Park. And so that is where a lot of the parade folks will gather, will carry on, will dance. I went with Black last year. He was taking pictures and interviewing people, and it was a time. It
I
was
can
such a
imagine.
fucking
I can
time.
imagine.
Yeah, it was so much fun. But anyway, moving right along. Child, you know what else is going to be fun? Politics as usual. Wow, especially
Wow.
this first one. Let's go. Y'all knew it was coming. The first ever federal criminal indictment of a president
Wow.
just happened with Donald J. Trump, little bitch. 37, okay? 37 felony counts.
Damn.
Like felony counts, y'all, including 31 counts under the Espionage Act of willful retention of classified records. I started reading the indictment. It's 40 some pages. Boy, is it worth the read. Everything that I have listened to today and watched from Fox News, Fox News is a little more slated to. This is, they're trying to tear him down. But boy, when that indictment came out, when they released the contents of it, they were like, "Oh, this is damning." They got a lot of proof. They put photos in that indictment. Have you seen these photos of the classified
No, I
documents?
have not been. I'm far behind in the
Child.
daily, child.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just
Photo documents as though he was moving, just thrown in a ballroom, thrown in a shower, in a bathroom, in his bedroom. Confidential documents, like boxes spilled open, like papers just all shoved on the floor, just floating around. And so some of these documents, they have like military plans on them. Some of them says like only for the big five, which is like our five top allies. I forget who they are. Canada, Australia, England, whatever. Yeah, Australia's up there. Anyway, I'm gonna read this so I don't get too excited. But prosecutors allege that Trump arranged to remove a massive collection of highly sensitive classified material, much of which consists of intelligence about the defense and weapons capabilities of the United States and foreign countries. The charging document also says that on at least 2 occasions, Trump showed classified documents to visitors without security clearances and ordered an aide, Walt Nuta, to begin moving boxes to obscure them from investigators. Trump did this without warning or informing his attorney, who was preparing to search Trump's property in compliance with the court authorized subpoenas to recover said records. Keep in mind, a couple of Trump's attorneys already quit today after this indictment came out. It was like, deuces. Boxes toppled in Trump's Mar-a-Lago storage room, where papers were, I said this, they were strewn all over the floor. They were also found in his ballroom, his bedroom, his bathroom, and even his shower. If Trump is ultimately tried and convicted on the 37 counts, he faces a potentially lengthy prison term. We'll get into this. Each count of willful retention of records carries a maximum 10-year sentence. That's each count. He got 37 counts, y'all. Okay? Which the 6 obstruction charges each carry a 20-year sentence, maximum sentence. False statements are also included in these documents. So to be clear, they have people who have recordings of Trump asking them to hide the documents. This indictment is so damning. I mean, and then not to mention, he's been on CNN Town Hall. He's been on all the Truth Social, I guess, saying that he has a right to take these documents. But I think the big part of this is that they can prove collusion now, because they have people who are saying, no, he told me to hide it. He told me to do this before the This is now, the indictment doesn't have to tell you why. It just has to tell you what he did. We still have no idea why he wanted to keep these documents, which is really, really concerning. I mean, the other thing about this is that the prosecution has asked that the judge throw attorney-client privilege out the window because some of these statements are from said attorneys.
I don't know what that means. I apologize.
So attorney-client privilege is when, okay, if you were my attorney and you're on the stand, you have a right to say, attorney-client privilege, like, I can't tell you what my client did.
Okay. It's like HIPAA or some shit. Okay.
Yeah, I can't put my client in a position where, you know, I'll tell his business. It's almost, it's like a therapist has that right and an attorney has that right. They are asking for that to be thrown away, and they might get it because they have so many people that are willing to testify and say, yeah, this happened. Wild times. So the other thing that I think, I don't know, after reading half of this, I don't know how he doesn't get found guilty. Now, the judge that has been randomly selected is unfortunately a Trump-appointed judge. It's a woman, and I'm hoping that this woman is recused because she just got an appointed panel of judges. I don't understand all of the logistics around it, but Republican-appointed judges just overturned a ruling that she just made that had to do with Trump, where they were like, what law are you reading? Like, you're just doing him a favor. So we're thinking, a lot of folks are thinking she's going to have to recuse herself, or that the prosecution is going to say this judge is unfit for this case and cite previous cases. But regardless, reading this indictment, I don't know how he doesn't get some sort of charge. Now, I don't think he's going to see jail time. I think he'll be on house arrest or some shit, and house arrest in Mar-a-Lago is like, okay, fine. But that's something to keep in mind. Go ahead. Last thing. Oh shit. Now we're talking over each other. Last thing. This indictment is Trump's second in the past 3 months. He also faces a 34-count indictment in New York City for allegedly falsifying business records in connection with hush money payments to Stormy Daniels, to prevent her from alleging an affair in the final weeks of the 2016 election. And 2 more criminal probes could result in further charges. A second probe by Smith, who's one of the, what is it? Shit, I can't remember. Smith isn't down in Georgia. But anyway, this is around Trump's bid to circumvent the 2020 election and put pressure on the Georgia what was the guy's name in Georgia? Pop, the governor. Anyway, he put pressure on him to find the other votes. Mm-hmm. So he's still got more cases pending.
But a lot of these he can just keep throwing. You can extend them for a long time, right? Especially when you have money, you can make these
not the Justice Department. No, ma'am.
Really?
He has to show up to court next week.
So this could affect his.
Yes, we're gonna get
campaign.
Into that. It's absolutely can affect his campaign.
Which is oh no, this is all
he's still
terrible.
The front runner. He's still by far the front runner for the Republican Party. The Republican Party, McCarthy, is backing him up. It's saying this is not that Trump isn't wrong, but that other people have had classified documents. Hillary Clinton's emails, Joseph Biden had classified, but the difference is Biden reported it. There are many times when people accidentally take classified documents. Not only did he report it, but when and if the documents were requested to be returned, he didn't try to hide them. And there's no proof around that.
Yeah.
So it's like, very different things.
Shower real quick. They won't look in.
Bro is crazy, yo.
What?
He's crazy.
What?
Anyway, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this because this is a developing story that I have to deep dive into more as I read the indictment. But I also think it's going to be very interesting to understand how these Republican presidential hopefuls handle this. Because now they're not going to be able to talk about their policy as they're in Iowa and as they're already campaigning. Now they're going to have to focus in on Trump. And that's exactly what they don't want to do. They don't want to keep talking about Trump because he's the obvious front runner. But now they got to speak up.
Why? Why do they have? I'm confused by that. Why don't they just be quiet and let that play out? Why do they have to even mention?
You got to take a stand because if you're a journalist, that's the first question. Like, hello, this is your adversary on the campaign trail. Of course, I'm asking you, what are your thoughts on how we keep classified documents safe?
Interesting.
You know, should a former president of the United States go to jail? What are your thoughts? If you were elected, would you pardon former President Donald Trump if he's found guilty? All of these questions are going to be asked. And they're right now trying to figure out how the fuck to answer them. Shit show.
Which they could finesse.
I don't know if he could finesse this, though.
I mean, I don't know if Trump can finesse this. If Trump, wow. I don't know if he can, but maybe all the other candidates can maybe finesse it a little bit, depending on
and I beg the Around the Way Curls community. I know 40 pages sounds like a lot. Skim the shit. A lot of it's pictures. You got to see the pictures.
Where they have this at? Just Google it.
You can just Google it. It's readily available. But the reason why most indictments are like 4 pages, 3 pages. This is a 40-page indictment because they want it to be more specific. They know that Trump's gonna lie. They did so much due diligence. It's almost as if they have their legal case in the indictment. You know, indictments are usually, this is what we think you did. Now we're going to go to trial and we're going to prove it. They put this indictment together because they know this is the first fucking time they're doing this with the former president. And they said, this is what we think you did. This is why we think you did it. Or excuse me, this is why we think, this is how we know, basically. We got proof. This is the proof we got. And we're hoping that this lays everything out so that the American people know that you're a liar.
Child.
Crazy times. Please, y'all read it. Skim it. Do something. Anyway, now here we go with this.
Interesting person runs for president. Dr. Cornel West.
Child.
Runs for president. I guess you mentioned last week about Mike Pence, Chris Christie.
I don't know if I mentioned either one of them. And we need to talk about what Nikki Haley said, speaking of
Nikki
pride,
Haley.
but
Who's the black guy?
uh
So,
fucking
something Smith.
Scott, Tim Scott.
Tim Scott. It's very interesting.
It's a lot of folks.
Republican candidates that I would just listen to the Daily about all of them. Very interesting. It talks about their stances and how they engage with Trump as well. It's really interesting. But anyway, Dr. Cornel West is running as a third-party candidate for the 2024 presidency. I quote, this is his quote, "In this bleak times, I've decided to run for truth and justice, which takes the form of running for president of the United States as a candidate for the People's Party." Apparently, the People's Party is an extension of, oh God, what's my boy's name? Socialist. Oh God.
Take your time.
Hold on. It's my boy too. Should have just avoided bringing that up.
No, it's okay. Everything's fine. Take
What's
your
his
time.
name? Everybody loved him. What the fuck is his name? Jewish guy. Senator of what, Vermont or something?
Bernie
Sanders. Bernie Sanders. It's from the People's Party is an extension of his campaign a while back.
The People's Party is also deeply rooted in the Black Panthers. What?
Well, no, I think the People's Party became also like an official thing via Bernie Sanders folks. But I mean, it could be a double entendre.
Okay, keep going.
Who knows? I listened a little bit to his interview that he had on Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman, excuse me. And this is a quote from one of his interviews. He says, "You know, my dear sister Amy, I'm a jazz man in American politics, and jazz is about blues, and blues is about catastrophe, lyrically expressed and candidly confronted and artistically transfigured, and the catastrophes have to be wrestled with. It could be ecological ones. It could be economic ones of grotesque wealth inequality. It could be social ones, political ones, psychic ones. And then there is swing, which is different concept of time. So we have ways of authorizing a better future given what seem to be all of the closed routes, all of the foreclosures, all of the alternatives trumped. So you have to make sure that the vitality and energy that we have in swings in such a way that you never lose hope and have in solidarity with oppressed people around the world. And of course, the third element is
improvisation.
Improvisation. And improvisation is about what? Well, it's not just an artistic skill, as Ron Carter's and geniuses like that still alive remind us. It's also a form of practical wisdom. As freedom fighters, we've got to be improvisational. We've got to be flexible. We've got to be fluid. We've got to be protein. We've got to learn how to listen. We can't be dogmatic. We can't be ossified. We can't be petrified in how we look at the world. Anyway.
That is straight.
This is all off of his dome. She says, what you gonna do? He says, well, I'm a jazz man. And then goes in. Nigga.
But wait, listen. Fun fact, I used to work for Wynton Marsalis, and this is literally how these brothers talk.
That's how they talk.
This is it. And everything, yes, but everything, and that's why I knew, you don't even have to quote here. That's how I knew you were going to say improvisation, because I know those three tenets of jazz, swing, and they use it as a metaphor for liberation in every single fucking way. They do it all the time. Ron Carter does it, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like they all do it. Got you. You can continue, because if you go back into what he says, it sounds very beautiful, but what did he say? What did you take from that?
Basically, that if you have to go into all of this, hold on, he's basically saying that you have to be flexible, you can't be hard, you have to be able to be fluid, you have to have faith in what's right. You have to have faith.
Yeah. What's your policies, Dr.
So
Cornel
in his
West?
policies, what he said he's going to do is he wants to end the war in Ukraine, which he defines as a proxy war. He wants to disband NATO. He wants to forgive all student debt. He wants to expand Social Security. And he wants to invest in clean air and energy. This shit don't sound no different than what Biden and all these other niggas promised us. I mean, by being the president, by stepping in and making his meetings and
she said making his meetings.
Made his meetings, open it up to.
I respect Dr. Cornel West. I do. I really do. The grave concern around this is that I was watching Ebony K. Williams today on the Griot. She had a really great point. She was on with April Ryan. And she was saying that the Democrats are failing miserably with what? What do they always fail with? Their fucking messaging. And so she was in a room full of black men, and I know where she was. She was at the Gentleman's Factory in Brooklyn. And she was in this room with these black men, and they were talking about how unimpressed they are with Biden, how they voted for Biden last time, and how this year they don't feel activated. And that's fine. Like, you don't have to be a Democrat. You can be whatever you want to be. Just be activated, please. But they don't feel activated, and they're probably not going to vote. And so she was saying, well, why is that? And they were like, well, he's not doing anything for Black Americans. But the messaging is so poor because there is stuff being done. And she goes on to cite that stuff, how Kamala Harris is doing work within equity when it comes to home ownership and when it comes to home appraisals, how Kamala Harris is doing the work to make sure that Black women are getting the correct health care, especially when it comes to pregnant Black women and maternity. Like, things are happening. The debt limit, Biden expertly negotiating to make sure that debt ceiling was raised, and that our Social Security for parents, my dad's on Social Security and everything else, that Medicare and all that stuff is not touched, when the Republicans could have absolutely strong-armed him and cut those very important, life-changing programs for folks that they want. That's what they want to do. All of that stuff affects us. And so again, the messaging sucks because we don't even realize it. We don't even hear about it. And they haven't done a great job at positioning Kamala in a way where she can actually speak about this shit. So I say all this to say, shout out to the good brother, Dr. Cornel West. I'm positive that there is more that Kamala, Biden, the whole administration could and should do. I can think of some off the top of my head right now. Like, we still waiting for the George Floyd stuff to get passed, but it won't get passed because it can't get it through Congress. Fine, because whatever. I say splitting the vote only helps the Republicans within the system that we have, the structure that we have. I know we have to figure out how to blow it up. We have to come up with other ways. It is very terrifying for me to hear that Black men are saying that not only are they not interested in voting, they probably won't vote, but now they might go vote for Dr. Cornel West, who is going to talk some shit that absolutely he probably means and absolutely would be beneficial if he could get it done for us. I don't know that he knows how to get it done with the complexities of the office and government and politics. But at the end of the day,
why do you think that he wouldn't? Why if Trump's history, Trump's character, Trump's education was able to run for president and to engage the population and to be able to move the mountains and a lot of the influence that he had. Why is that any different than Cornel West, who I think has
I think Cornel West has integrity and a heart and doesn't fearmonger. I'm going to answer your question. Trump was effective. He wasn't smart. He didn't understand politics. It's showing right now that he doesn't understand how this shit actually works. Trump was effective in the way in which he fearmongered, and he had the right people around him to get his work done. And he got the votes, and he was able to raise a ton of money and have a ton of influence, and also had, corporate America backing him as well. But he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He didn't know what he was doing in foreign policy. He's cozying up to Russia and everything else. He was lucky enough to have the right people around him. Dr. Cornel West, I don't believe will fearmonger in that way. I think he's going to keep his integrity about him, which sadly makes him less effective, which means now you have to really know how to maneuver politically. And that is dirty business that I don't know that Dr. Cornel West, I'm not saying he isn't. I'm just saying I know he's brilliant. I know he's bright. That's a whole other beast. That's a whole other monster. And I can't imagine, again, the presidency sounds like the hardest job in the world, trying to appease these three branches of government, trying to make sure foreign affairs are straight, trying to balance the budget, trying to like, and then having to play dirty but seem nice at the same time. That's a lot. And I don't know if people who are deeply rooted in liberation, true liberation, are cut out for that. It's like when the guys, who were the two guys in Tennessee, the two senators, state senators who were ousted, those black men. A story came out that one of them told someone in the elevator, make sure you vote me out. Vote me out. Before he was ousted and then got on his soapbox. A lot of people were furious about that because they were like, oh, you just wanted to be on your soapbox. You wanted the limelight. You manipulated us. My head went, oh, he's going to be a great politician. He knew exactly what that was going to do. He knew that he was going to get power. He knows how to play this fucking game, how to make the media jump on that. And now he's going to be even more powerful and even more influential because he knew he would be able to get back in. So it's that kind of dirty work that I'm like, you got to know how to manipulate that. And I don't pretend to. But I don't know if Dr. Cornel West can.
I think it's powerful just to disrupt and to speak about, to shed light on how both the Democratic as well as the Republican Party are deeply entrenched in this kind of double speak, as well as their being influenced by corporations and their global the global consequences and the ecological consequences of these binaries and this idea of like, oh, you got to pick one or the other because if not, you're weak and your voice isn't heard. I think it's dope that he's out there. I think it's dope that folks can see somebody that is speaking truth, that is taking that risk, that may not be able to win, but is out there being like, oh, this shit is all fucked up, and there is another way, and there is another possibility, and it isn't just a binary, and we can be governed people and not governed by this thing that in our guts we all know is wrong and is destructive. And maybe in terms of votes and politics, it won't work. But I think it's dope that what he's doing, and I think it's powerful in being out there.
It is powerful. The last thing I'll say on it though is that it comes at a cost, and while
it all does,
and while we say that that it's dope, that it's this and that, when those votes, because he's not going to get Republican votes. He's going to split Democrat. Ain't no Republicans voting for Dr. Cornel West for the most part. Like, hello. But when he starts splitting that Democratic vote, that's when it's going to get real tricky. And it's going to be like, yeah, that was great to have this light shed, but now we stripped the vote so much that now we're in danger of having
or
a
it's
Republican.
Just like, it's shining a light. Like, this all is fucked up. This game that we're playing is all fucked up.
It's not shining a light if he starts to take the votes and has no chance of winning. And I think that's the difference between having integrity the way that you do and being deeply rooted in liberation and approaching this from a political mind of, can you win? If not, then the votes that you're taking are making us in danger of not being able to secure the presidency and possibly have a Trump or a Ron DeSantis in the White House. And then
Biden against Trump or Ron DeSantis even now is just like, where are the Democratic candidates? Where are they? Who
It's
are
going to
they?
be, I don't know that Biden shouldn't be the Democratic candidate. I understand that he's old, but the jobs report, even Fox is reporting like this. They hated to report it. It's soaring. He's getting stuff done, and we don't, it's not, again, the messaging is not there. He's literally getting stuff done. So at this point, it's like, well, why wouldn't he be the candidate outside of his age? Kamala's getting stuff done. So if something happens to Joe, why wouldn't they be our front runners? I have yet to hear anything outside of age to support
I guess
them not being
we
it.
we don't have to have a huge thing to go into it. I guess it's people that are concerned about, yes, if we're talking about a keeping this machine going, sure, he's doing a great job. But those that are concerned about immigrants, because he is tightening a lot of the laws around immigration or around the environment or around war and the consequences of that, it's more of the same. And yes, he's doing it, it's getting done, but it's still more of the same. And I think that is where people are frustrated. And I don't know, I feel like even Obama, he got a lot of votes from who we would think would be right-wing, middle America whites, because he spoke to something in their guts and in their intuition and this idea of hope, right? Like just hope that I don't know if they can follow Cornel.
The messaging.
I don't think they could actually follow him, but if they could look at the transcripts and read it, they might be like, "Oh, this nigga talking that shit." Though I hear you.
The messaging.
But when he's saying,
yeah, I'm telling you,
we can't be petrified and how we look at the world.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't love to explore the idea of Dr. Cornel West.
Could you imagine a world where he's president?
No, honestly, I couldn't. It's outside of my scope. But I'm not saying that I'm hating on it. I'm just saying that I don't know.
Yeah, no,
he did a really interesting interview.
The way the world is, girl.
He did a very interesting interview with Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper was like, "So are you running to win, or are you running to get your messaging across?" Yeah. And Cornel West was like, "Well, brother Tapper, you never go into a situation where you don't want to win. We are," started doing his whole thing, and Jake Tapper was trying to stop from laughing because he was speaking in these circles and in this poetry.
He's a Gemini. He can't help himself. They just come.
No Geminis in the fucking.
Trump is already a Gemini child.
We are like well into this episode, an hour and some changing. Do we want to keep going?
Are we really?
Yeah, girl. It's an hour and 7 minutes, child.
Well, we
That's
cannot.
all right.
We would be wrong not to talk about it. First and foremost, we won't dwell on this, but I just want to send grounding light and warmth. And consolation to the family of AJ Owens. I don't know how to say the sister's name. GK. I watched a video and her mother said her name. Please blame it on my memory, not my heart. But the woman that was shot by her white neighbor in front of her 4 children. The woman, Susan Lawrence, has been arrested and charged with manslaughter with a firearm. And I just want, again, I really do believe in collective prayer to just wrap around those babies who are dealing with trauma and are blaming themselves for the death of their mother and are probably just have demons on their back in this moment. So all parties involved, just lots of love, lots of light and grounding, and give them ease in their lives. Please, God, the angels are there. Let them swoop in and help this family who's in need of it. We'll just mention this
for folks who didn't but for folks who don't know what happened, give it the time, please. Sorry.
Last week there has been a rift between these two families for a while. It's a 58-year-old white woman and a 35-year-old mother of 4. They were neighbors to one another. There has been continued tension between the two of them, grounded in the children. because the children would often play in the field next to the white woman's apartment. Neighbors have said for a long time that this woman has reacted very nastily towards it, and there's been tension between them. It came to a head last week when the children were playing in the yard. The white woman was yelling at them, apparently throwing racial slurs, and physically threw a roller skate at one of the children. The children, of course, went into the house, told their mom what happened. Of course, the mom went over. Of course, she is probably upset. Her energy was probably high because what the fuck? And went and knocked on the white woman's door. The white woman shot her through her locked door, hitting her in the chest. At this time, her children are pacing, crying, trying to resuscitate her with CPR. She later dies in the hospital. And of course, the woman isn't immediately arrested because of the stand your ground laws in Florida, but deeper into the case. And I don't know who this official was. I don't know the official, but apparently one of the police officials was very sympathetic and the energy was very like, yo, this is fucked up. My hands are tied. They weren't in any way defense of Susan, but we're like we just have to go through this protocol. This isn't right. And eventually she has been arrested within this week. But AJ's mother, if you guys can look, shared a video where she goes out. She talks about her baby and how much she loved her and the loss, and how her children are blaming themselves and how they feel like I couldn't save my mom because they were there and it was because of them asking for her to defend them, which is just natural. Like, it just makes me so upset. It makes me so sad that this happened, and she's our age. This could have been, she was a young woman. She had a whole life ahead of her. This is when you're like stepping into your prime of your life, and you're starting to reap all of the hard work that you put in as a mother. She had a 3-year-old baby, a 9, a 12, and I think an 11-year-old. I may have made up those numbers, but I have faith that the spiritual world and angels are there for those children, and they're not abandoned. But my God, what?
Speaking
Susan,
of
what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
But this is where we were talking about things being effective and not good. That is, again, it's more fear mongering. It's more division. Like, that's how folks are effective. Speaking of the collective, though, if you want to support the family and support by sharing the story, support by signing petitions, donating, AJ's mother put together a full website, justiceforajowens.card, CARRD.co. We've shared it on Twitter, and check it out. I mean, there's so much. Sign the petition. She goes into detail about what happened, donate to the family, contact officials and demand justice. There's a hyperlink that will take you right to the state's attorney to call, the sheriff to call. It's a really beautiful and in-depth site.
Can you share that link?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll share.
That's really important, because God give them ease at the very least. Don't let them have to like scrounge for resources to raise those babies up. Well, reason number 578 that the world is ending and we've passed the threshold of no return. I think we all need to really sit with that. For the first time, I know a lot of the folks in the West Coast can't help but feel felt and seen and heard now. Shout out to you guys. We did not know. Because how could you know? The East Coast is now experiencing the effects of the Canadian wildfires. 414 wildfires are still burning in Canada. 239 are categorized as out of control. Can we sit with that?
It's too many. That's a
The
lot.
heat, the energy, the sound, the animals, the kinetic reality of that
You
blows
sound like
my
Cornel
mind.
West. I'm sorry.
Because you have to understand the reverberation into the energetic ecological fields.
Wait, she said the kinetic energy of it. I said, girl. Okay.
Have you ever just a fucking
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
campfire? I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like, just a
It's
content
burning.
campfire. I'm like, this shit crazy. You hear this? You see this? 414 fires. Child went
Also,
outside.
how do you count a fire?
Exactly.
What's one
I'm just
fire?
making shit up at this point.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, how you
How you
count
count
a
a-
fire?
that's a
One
good
fire. That's such a me question. Like, hold up. I tweeted and I was like, can somebody send me a picture of the Canadian wildfires? I'm trying to see something real quick. Because I was like, I ain't seen no
How do you
wildfires
count?
yet.
That sounds like a Pocahontas lyric. How do you count?
The fires. This is not funny. You have to laugh from keep from crying. But we were supposed to record yesterday. We didn't record because my head was pounding.
I slept all day. I stayed in the house.
You did? You ain't go to work,
I
child?
didn't go anywhere. I stayed in the house. I stepped outside. I said, oh.
Girl, the way New York Black kept saying, why is New York stuck on sepia? It's like, I'm sick of it.
The way Blacks, I have to applaud him for the post that he said. He said, it's the end of the world. Y'all got to be honest about some shit. Y'all ain't know what's going on in Succession half the time.
Did he say that?
He said, let's be honest about some shit. The rappers ain't rapping on beat. And y'all know you ain't know what was going on in Succession
I
half
can't
the
see
time.
that. I can't see him.
Howled. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you so much. See, when in doubt, just laugh. Shout out to the new Black, the God. Wow, the algorithm doesn't show me his stuff. See, the world is ending.
Anyway, the Western U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack says it's no longer a matter of if wildfire will threaten many Western communities in these landscapes. It is a matter of when. What an ominous threat, nigga. What in the guaranteed fatality?
Listen.
Wow. It really affected me. It was not yesterday. I stayed in the house all day, but what's today? Wednesday.
Friday.
Wednesday when I first stepped out, I stepped out like 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock to take Joe to school or whatever, and I was like, what in the? What is going on? And then throughout the day, it just got thicker and thicker, and I was just, it was surreal. I was like, yo, this is so weird. Why am I going to a meeting right now? Why am I doing any things that I'm doing? And there's like 414 fires burning
Girl,
in Canada.
you can't count fires though.
It's a lot, Antoinette.
I want to know, is a big fire?
It's one big ass fire.
But that's what I'm saying. So how did you get to 414? Is it
Maybe
by
they
square
had
foot?
different accounts, like different people. Like, there's a fire over here. He's like, Becky 1. There's a fire over here.
No, that's
Pascal
not.
2. There's a fire over here.
No, it's got to be different, Shanti.
No, I think they must have it to a science.
It's got to be by
must.
square footage. Every square foot counts as a fire. So a certain amount of square footage.
Well, they probably under-calculating.
Under-reporting.
Child. No,
and it was scary in New York. It came here on Tuesday because I went into work to the office, and then by the time I left the office, I got so nervous from I was in downtown Manhattan, and I immediately went to my phone and was like, was there an attack? Like, I thought there's something. No, I had no idea. So I was walking around about to go get my car, and I was terrified that it looked like there was a fire in the city, and a lot of people were outside scared because, people here have PTSD. So, child, Canada, tighten up, all right? That was too much.
Blaming it on Canada.
That was too much, all right? What's his name? Trudeau?
He said it's
Trudeau?
coming for you.
Tighten up.
The spiritual significance of fire is very interesting, though. It's a purification, destruction. And I'm telling you, Mother Nature, she gonna do her thing.
I kept saying, I was like, they gotta stop saging so much.
Not the smudge, not the
They
spiritual
smudging too
global
much.
smudge. Guys, stop playing. We be better. It'll be
Speaking of
okay.
smudge, Erykah Badu
Erykah Badu
had some words for Blueface, and Blueface's mama ain't like this shit.
What
I
happened?
don't care to talk about Blueface at all. You put this on here, so go ahead.
I thought it was about Erykah and her magic child.
All right, go ahead.
Blueface dropped a new video. He's rapping under a group of 4 pregnant women, which is just distasteful, being as though he's being very abusive and dismissive of his pregnant baby mother, Krishan. Erykah shared the video and just said in her stories, in her Instagram stories, and said, what she said? Trash. And said, universe, do its thing. Child, a week later, he's in jail for robbery. He is locked up right now. Don't fucking play with Erykah Badu.
Yo, Erykah. I don't want no problems with her. That's also not surprising with him. Also, we don't want to see black men incarcerated. Also, duality is a thing. Maybe this one we do. Also, like, restorative justice. Also, like, I don't know how to feel about this,
Also,
but
like,
all I
you
know is
broke on
can't
the
stand
low
this
because
dude.
you robbing people. Like, you
Why?
you fucking... First of all,
I don't know nothing about that kid. I don't like him. I don't like the looks of him. And the old baby mama is back in the picture, and he said he liked her because she only been with one dude, which I guess was him, and he was so abusive towards
he's
her.
so terrible. He's so miserable.
Krishan was at the Roots picnic.
She was. She came out of Glorilla's performance looking all cute and pregnant. And also, girl, go to Erykah Badu and get into your white and get into your initiation and become a daughter of Oshun or Queen of Fua. Stop resisting it.
Krishan is not innocent in all this either, but I'm praying for her.
But the
baby is, and she's carrying the baby, so we got to protect her. That's how it works. Sorry.
It was really triggering for me because I saw her on a live crying. Like, I hate him. She just, you could see all her body and all that goes to the baby. I remember that kind of like anger and hopelessness, and like that goes to your baby. I was like, oh, girl. Do we need to mention this? Let's
universe do its thing.
No,
because we didn't. That was last year.
Antoinette, tell us why. I don't understand this. I don't understand why you're upset about this. I'm very excited. Apparently, Kim Cantrell is.
I'm not upset about it.
Oh, I thought you were like, I don't care.
I was upset about it.
I thought you posted it in protest and anger that Kim Cantrell, Sam, is returning to the HBO new Sex and the City series.
No, it was because I had just said I'll never watch that shit. And now I gotta go back and watch it.
I love that.
But I feel like maybe I can watch it without the first season back. I don't need to watch the first one.
I like it. You should watch it. It's not bad.
I heard it was.
I mean, it's corny, but it's also like, yay! It's also given the same kind of vibe.
I heard that what's her face left Steve, and I don't have time for that.
Oh God!
Did she leave Steve?
Girl, you got to watch the show because it's a whole fucking thing.
She left Steve for my Latina lesbian chick. She could sing her ass off.
I cannot tell you this premise because others will want to watch it who have not seen it.
Her leaving, she did not deserve Steve. She didn't treat Steve well.
Steve was not putting it down.
Steve was not putting it down.
Apparently, he was not.
In the movies and in the movies and in the old original show, Steve was putting it down. I remember them having sex, and I was like, okay, Steve.
You know what? You need to watch it. I really will.
He had his hand on the pelvis too, try to make sure it hit the right spot. Do you remember? He was behind her. They were sitting. I remember it vividly. They were sitting up, and I said, that hand, the placement of that hand.
Oh,
good job, Steve. Okay. I love Steve.
No, and
Carrie's about to get back with Aiden. I don't have time for this. Aiden, you deserve more. Leave her alone. Carrie's a terrible person.
The way that they portray this thing with Steve, we all are up. Like it's a clear like why. You know, Steve isn't a bad guy in this. We're all like, but that's a good, like, that nigga love you. Like, why?
So
But
she
women
left
are
him because
like
of
that.
sex?
Women are like that. Sorry for doing
Oh,
that.
she
Women
slapped
are
the mic.
women are like that, and we're not gonna act like we don't. Like, not a nigga being nice to me. Yuck, boring.
Oh, see, I don't have
Gotta
time
find
for
something
that.
else.
All I'm praying for is somebody to be a little bit nice and not dumb.
Mm.
We're gonna talk about it. Go ahead.
Last but not least,
That's not the last thing on here, but continue.
what else we got?
One
Oh
more, just
my
one more
God.
quick thing we gotta talk about.
Shout out to Tyler James Williams of Everybody Hates Chris and
He
Abbott
cute.
Elementary. He is cute. He
You heard
has
him
been.
rap? He can rap. Did you hear his freestyle?
He is a
Ooh, let me find
complicated,
it and send it to you.
multi-dimensional man. He tall too.
He ate that shit up. Go ahead.
He's been catching a lot of side eyes, innuendos, you know, a lot of questioning his sexuality. And he finally addressed it on his stories. And he says, usually I wouldn't address stuff like this, but I feel like it's a conversation bigger than me. I'm not gay, but I think the culture of trying to find some kind of hidden trait or behavior that a closed person lets slip is very dangerous. Being straight doesn't look one way. Being gay doesn't look one way. Overanalyzing someone's behavior in an attempt to catch them directly contributes to the anxiety a lot of queer and queer questioning people feel when they fear living in their truth. It also reinforces an archetype many straight men have to live under that is oftentimes unrealistic, less free, and limits individual expression. I've been very clear about the intentionality I try to put into using my platform to push back against these archetypes every chance that I get. Now, I had my tail in between my legs because there are many times that an effeminate man has been labeled gay, or there's a question around like, oh, he gay. I know Drake recently had his nail polish on. A lot of people were like, bring masculinity back.
Say who it was.
Mad niggas.
She said a lot of people. How you going?
Bitches.
That's
lots of people. It was just, see, the thing is, said it, but a lot of people have been talking about it. Don't like men with nails. And I think that this was a good checkpoint for all of us to be like, yeah, you're right. Especially,
it's okay to have a preference to be like, that's not my thing, but you have to ask yourself why and be able to be honest about it.
And I think especially if you are questioning somebody's sexuality, if you don't have the relationship or the confidence or the balls to ask that person directly, then don't you go around other people and be like, oh, I think he gay, because that just feels, if that feels dangerous, that feels
and it's unfortunate
dangerous.
that it is dangerous, because I do feel like hopefully I'm hopeful that we'll get to a place where you can be like, oh, it's such and such gay, because it's the norm, or not the norm. Yeah, it's the norm that you don't know. You don't assume people's sexuality.
Yeah, what's your sexuality? Asking other people's sexuality,
but also if you're not interested in dating that person, it's none of your fucking business, in my opinion. Why do you have to know that? The only reason why you should be asking me what my sexuality is if I'm sitting on a podcast couch, we doing an interview, maybe then, and it's relevant. Or if you're interested in dating me and you want to know, because you want to know if I date women or men. Otherwise, it's none of your business. It really isn't.
Yeah.
What is the talking point there?
So in that effect, I think you're right as well, because I think there's nothing wrong with having your what you're attracted to. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing wrong with like, oh, I like a nigga that walks into the room and he's fucking bow-legged with like a certain type of energy. And I think the denial of masculine and feminine energy in all the ways that it is expressed in this spectrum is dope, and it's like we shouldn't have to tiptoe around it. But I think it's that. I think it's the indirect assumption and the talking about it behind somebody's back without asking them with genuine curiosity, without genuine care.
It's also the judgment behind it, because you're not having those conversations just to have those conversations. There's some kind of point that you're making about that person.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
right. There's a conclusion that you're drawing. So
I
mind your
did not
fucking
dislike
business.
Drake's nail polish. I don't like the yellow.
I don't like
I
Drake.
there's very, very,
I didn't like the color choice.
yeah, I don't like, if you got yellow internet, I'd be very upset with you.
I know.
Anybody. I don't like yellow. It's just not
Yellow on a dress is great. Yellow on the nail, it's
nail.
giving fungus.
But this idea of bring masculinity back is very
We would have to talk to. Well, here's the thing. I saw that and immediately was like, "Oh, I'm cringing. I'm clutching my pearls, ladies." And I didn't listen to the episode yet, so I have to wait. But I feel like Mandy and them are smart enough to pick a title that's gonna be
you saw the clip.
provocative.
They said they don't want nigga rocking nails. They don't want them to. There's enough is enough with you slipping and sliding into the feminine
Did they
aesthetic.
say that for all men, or did they say that for the men that they want to date?
I don't know, Mandy. Come on the
I don't
show
know
and clear
either.
this up. Shout out to you. You know who you
No,
are.
because Mandy will fuck around and be like, "Oh, these niggas gotta stop," and I'll be like, "No, edit." But no, I think again, I don't know if I want to date somebody that has the blue and yellow nail polish. If I'm being completely honest,
What
my
about the black nail
conditioning,
polish?
the black nail polish, I already is somebody I know who gets that, and I'd be like, "Cool, king." Shout out to you. You know who you are if you made it this far in the episode. But yeah, I don't.
Or you
At
don't
this
like it,
point,
and that's
I'm so
okay.
listen. At this
I don't know
point,
if I want a nigga to wear tight, ripped up jeans. I don't like that aesthetic where it's real low and their pants are
hate
showing
it.
and their tight pants. And it's
But
not
see,
because
the
it's
difference
feminine. It's
there
because I
is
just like this stuff.
the difference there is most people wouldn't think that was feminine. You know, most people
Oh,
like
because the gendered
right. It's the gender thing.
aesthetic.
It was like people were making fun of Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler. Do you know who Jimmy Butler is?
Mm. I
Okay,
love
he's a
you.
basketball player. But they were making fun of Jimmy Butler because he started the season off with lock extensions. And I was like, Jimmy
Okay.
Butler is bow-legged as fuck. He could come right over here with them lock extensions. But anyway.
I see him too. Miami Heat. Them things swinging.
He's in the finals now. They playing right now, which
He
I'm not
said,
watching
this is
because we're
human
recording.
here, but you couldn't afford this on your fucking best day. With overtime, you couldn't afford this, bitch.
Bam. All right, finally. Kelis is reportedly dating Bill Murray. That's it.
Wow.
That's all I got. I don't know nothing else.
I love that for her. I kind of love her taste in men.
She had, well, we don't know about her late husband, which that is really sad. And a lot of people were like, didn't her husband just die?
Oh,
And I
is
was
that
like,
the
yeah, we shouldn't be
issue?
policing people's, people grieving. But yes, he did. Kelis is 43, looking
She
amazing.
young.
Can I tell you
She
something?
young as hell.
I saw Kelis online and I went and bought some of her skincare. And I bought that shit a month ago and it still says packaging. Kelis,
Stop
tighten up.
disparaging black businesses.
Kelis, I understand that you do it by hand. I understand that you need to ship it a month, baby. Send me my product.
She making it off the
Listen,
dome. Them bees ain't done making that honey, girl.
No,
It takes
I'm about
time.
to-
It's nature, baby.
I'm about to call American Express and say, I never received my goods. Take this off my goddamn card. But Bill Murray is 72.
And it's funny, enlightened, kind,
Mm.
a good time, well exposed, well seasoned. Have you ever watched a Bill Murray interview?
Do me a favor. Just type in Bill Murray right now.
I know he looks like
love this thing with
Libra.
you. I know,
She
but just
said-
type it in.
She said, yuck.
Type it in.
Not if it's the
Type
same
it
as when
in.
you told me to
Tina
type
knows.
in Tina Turner.
You know how many people tweeted us and was like, why you got me Googling this and why did they do that? So Bill Murray was cute. Now I want you
Wasn't.
you don't see the young picture of him? I thought he
He
was
still
cute in
wasn't cute.
Ghostbusters. Oh, I thought he was a cutie. Listen, imagine that member, what that looks like. And then imagine Nas's. All I'm
He
saying is
rich too. He
But
rich
all I'm
too.
saying is, Kelis is really, I think, who we have to aspire to be. Kelis goes where the love is. Because if you can go from Nas's penis to Bill Murray's penis of what I would imagine the two to look like, you really, you're moving from your heart. And I respect it. I really do.
I think she's had enough. The
Nas,
range.
Bill Murray,
Nas
you love
wasn't
Nas.
shit.
Yeah, I
Nas
understand.
hurt her.
This is what this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying we need to move like Kelis.
I trust her judgment. She has felt a range
I don't trust
of.
her judgment after what she said about Beyonce. She needs to chill.
Listen, I trust her judgment of love. She has experienced a range of heartache, of love. I mean, I know she probably loved that husband that she lost to lose a partner.
Yeah.
I trust her. She knows some of it. If there's love advice, I'm taking it from Kelis because she done experienced some things. She got the range. And Bill, you better treat her right.
I know that's right, Bill.
You better fund that farm. You better start a grant for Black farmers.
I know that's right.
Invest in that queen because she ain't playing. She knows. Shout out to her. Also,
All right,
shout out
y'all.
to Kelly Rowland. That's the last thing I want to say. Kelly looks so fucking good. Catwoman don't got shit on Kelly Rowland.
Kelly
That's all
fine.
I
She
gotta
been
say.
fine.
She getting fire though.
Wait, we need to go because I took the edible for the next episode and it's hitting.
All right. I
All
gotta
right.
pee.
So thank you all. One more episode before our little 2-week break. Bye.
I gotta pee, Queen. Because I've been drinking.
I've been drinking. Keep drinking. I'm about to take another one. No, I'm be on my ass.
Go ahead.
Always yelling at that.